Hi, everyone. This is our presentation on rational appeal, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, and fallacies.
So to start off with rational appeal, it persuades the audience by using logical arguments and factual evidence. It establishes the truth of a proposition or claim, and you need to support it with evidence. It addresses rational faculties of readers and their capacity to reason logically about a problem. And basically, the writer's job is to develop the right appeals for a particular audience.
So for inductive reasoning, you're going from the particular to like a general statement. You have to use evidence to support and predict your conclusion and your generalization, but this is completely based on evidence. Like an example of some forms of evidence are like facts or like experts' opinions and stuff like that, like data, graphs, something that's illustrated. And this is the complete opposite of deductive reasoning, which is in the next slide, but this little picture here shows you like the steps you take for inductive reasoning.
Okay, for deductive reasoning, you start with a general to particular statement. You start with a general in order to reach a more particular conclusion about the text. And you can assume a statement based off the first reasoning. And my chart shows as well that if you start with the information, you're going to see a pattern, and then you can get a hypothesis and a theory. And that's deductive reasoning.
So fallacies are important to use during an argument. There's two different kinds of fallacies. One would be a formal fallacy, which breaks down how something is trying to be said, and an informal fallacy denotes an error in what is trying to be said in an argument. An example of an informal fallacy would be hasty generalization or oversimplification or false statements. So that is a logical fallacy.
All right, so this video clip is just going to explain the basics of those fallacies and how they can be used in arguments. If it will load. Seriously.
Vegetables are bad for you. After all, the dinosaurs ate plants, and we all know what happened to them. Well, let's pause for a moment. That argument was ridiculous, and that's because it contained a logical fallacy. A logical fallacy is any kind of error in reasoning that renders an argument invalid. They can involve distorting or manipulating facts, drawing false conclusions, or distracting you from the actual issue at hand. In theory, it seems like they'd be pretty easy to spot, but this isn't always the case. Sometimes logical fallacies are used intentionally to try and win a debate. In these cases, they're often presented by the speaker with a certain level of confidence, and in doing so, they're more persuasive.
All right.
So to end off the presentation, we have a short true or false activity. Number 1, deductive reasoning works from the particular to the general. Number 2, there are two types of fallacies, formal and informal. Number 3, inductive reasoning is based on evidential support. Number 4, rational appeal is an address to readers that is not supported by any evidence. The answers are at the bottom, but in case you can't read it, 1 is false, 2 is true, 3 is true, and 4 is false.
All right, that concludes the presentation. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope you learned something new.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you.
See ya.